What's up YouTube? Keir Briscoe here. Recently a few of my friends have gotten a hold of Adobe Lightroom and have asked me questions about how it works. So I've decided to do a bit of a tutorial series on Lightroom. Today's video is just an introduction to the interface. I'm not actually going to do any editing. This video is directed towards people who are totally brand new to Lightroom or who may be interested in purchasing it and just want to know a little bit more about how it works. For reference, I'm using Mac OS 10.13.5 on a 13-inch MacBook Pro. And the version of Lightroom that I'm using is Adobe Lightroom Classic CC 7.3.1 with Camera Raw 10.3. So these instructions are basically relevant for those versions. Adobe is constantly updating Lightroom and Apple is constantly updating the OS. This video may get dated at some point because of that, so please keep that in mind when you're watching the video. Now, I'm using a brand new library for this where I have uploaded a few photos from a wedding that I photographed a couple weeks ago while in Chattanooga. These photos have not been edited yet. I have them here just for reference so you can see what it looks like. Now, Lightroom is made up of several different modules all combined into one. The modules all have very similar interfaces, but this video is going to go over reviewing what that interface looks like for each of the modules. Across the top, we have a bar which allows you to select the different modules in Lightroom. The modules that I use the most are the Library and Develop module. In the center, we have our viewer area. And right now, I'm viewing the entire library as a grid. On the left-hand side, we have an area that is typically used for global things like files, folders, presets, history, depending on what module you're in. And then on the right side, there's another utility bar that is used for things that are more specific to each image. For instance, metadata, editing. If you're doing a slideshow, it lets you set music for that slideshow, etc. Along the bottom, we have what's called our film strip. Now, on this screen, you might think, well, the center is very cramped. But here's what you can do with these bars along the side is there's a little arrow. And if I click that arrow, it minimizes the bar. If I want to bring it up, I just move my mouse back down and that bar pops up. I actually minimize the top and bottom. And that gives me a lot of room to preview my grid, or if I want to preview an individual image as well. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm actually going to keep this top bar down, and that way I can easily access all of the modules. So the next module I'm going to look at is the Develop module. And here on the left-hand side, we have presets, snapshots, history, and on the right-hand side, we have all the tools that we would use to edit this image. Now, all of these different areas can be collapsed by clicking on the little arrow on the side. So in this case, where I don't have much screen real estate, I can only keep the tools open that I want to use at that time. So often I keep my basic view the one that's showing, because pretty much every image, the first thing I do is adjust basic parameters like exposure, contrast, and then I move on to more advanced settings. In the Map module, I guess, I don't know why this is showing Black Rock City, Burning Man. That's really interesting. What the Map module does is if you take photos on your cell phone or your camera has a GPS built into it, this map module will actually place your GPS location and show you where each image was taken. I generally don't do this. My camera doesn't have GPS functionality built into it, and I just don't really worry about this. The Book module is for creating books that you want to get printed, for instance, for a coffee table book, or it's really good for gifts. Now, each of these pages can be customized. You can see by default, it laid this out with one photo per page. You can actually pull down different page templates and design this how you want, put whatever text you want in. Once you're done laying out your book, you can send it off to get professionally printed, and when it comes back, it's a really nice gift to give people or to keep on your coffee table. It's a great way to create an album where you're not just gluing the photos in yourself, they're actually permanently printed and it looks very professional. The slideshow module allows you to use the images that you have either in your library or collection or whatever images you've chosen to create a slideshow, and it saves the slideshow as a movie file. You can add music, you can adjust your transitions. Besides library and develop, slideshow is a module I occasionally use, but typically only if I've done some photographs for a friend and I throw them together into a slideshow, and then I can post it to YouTube and show them their slideshow. There is the print module. If you go down the left-hand side, you can see there's different templates you can choose for printing out your images. So for instance, here you can make a contact sheet. If you just want little thumbnails for your images, it prints the image and the file name. So you can give this to a client, that way they can refer to a file name that they like, and it makes it easier to find the file later when they want to print it, or send it off to a printer to get printed. Again, you can see very common layout of the left toolbar, the right toolbar. The bottom toolbar is still this film strip version. Now the final module is the web module, and this is a really easy way to make a web page where you can lay everything out as far as creating a photo album and then upload it to the web to allow a client to look at the photos over the web. All right, so that includes my intro to Lightroom. I hope you found something useful in this. If you are considering purchasing Lightroom, please consider using my link in the description below. You pay the same low price as you would if you went to Adobe directly, but Adobe gives me a bit of a kickback to allow me to create videos like this. Don't forget to give this movie a thumbs up and share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested in it. And I'll see you in the next video.